What's up everybody, welcome back to another episode, and today we're going to talk about the difference between high-tech tanks and low-tech tanks. I bet you can't say that 10 times as fast. High-tech tanks, low-tech tanks, high-tech tanks, low-tech tanks, high-tech tanks, low-tech tanks, wow. Sounded like I was speaking Chinese that I didn't even understand. Hopefully this video will help somebody to make a better decision between which one to go with first, or to go with both, or be like me, go with low tech and ease your way into the high tech tank round. So with no further ado, let's talk about it. The main difference between high tech tanks and low tech tanks is pressurized CO2. Thank you for watching. I'm completely joking, guys. Well, not completely joking, because the main differentiator is pressurized CO2, but with great power comes great responsibilities. And with using pressurized CO2, there's so many elements that you have to account for. So in this video, we're gonna do an overview of the difference, and then we're gonna go further into the rabbit hole and discuss the pros and cons of a high-tech tank and a low-tech tank. There's so many other things you have to upgrade in order for your plant to utilize all that CO2. You have to add additional ferns in the water column, to use a nutrient-rich substrate, utilize a better light, and then there's more maintenance and care that comes with a high-tech tank. And obviously with low-tech tanks, without CO2, you don't really need an amazing light. You don't really need a fertilizer water column. You might need to have a nutrient-rich substrate. It really depends on what you're growing. The pros of having a high-tech tank: with the addition of better lighting, macronutrients from the CO2 and the ferts and the substrate, you'll get faster, healthier, more beautiful plant growth. And as well, your selection of plants has exponentially expanded to pretty much anything you want to grow. You could go from low-light plants like Sagittaria, Crypts, or Boost, all the way to high-light plants like Ludwigia White, Seneglensis, Platinum Glosso, Rotala mini butterflies, Bacopa Salzmannii, all of those colorful plants. Now with all of that, it comes with a price, and that's actually part of the con. The price of establishing and running and continually to run a high-tech tank is exponentially higher than running a low-tech tank. And of course, with using pressurized CO2, better lighting, ferts, and all of that, it's a way higher learning curve as well. And with faster plant growth, one thing you will have to do is a lot more maintenance, a lot more care and attention will be paid. For instance, for my high-tech tank, I maintain it every single week. I take out all the dead leaves, trim the plants, I clean the substrate, clean the glass. There's like a lot more variables in maintaining a high-tech tank. So that's also something that you want to think about. And in terms of price of, let's say, a pretty common size tank, a 90p. Let me do some quick math here. It's gonna run you about around $1,000, and there's ongoing costs. You have the fertilizer that you have to constantly dose. You have the CO2 that you have to refill every now and then. So I would say the monthly ongoing cost for that would probably be like 40 bucks. That's $480 that you're spending in a year just to keep the tank running. And that doesn't even include the time that you spent into maintenance and caring for the tank and educating yourself. With low-tech tanks, the pros is definitely budget-friendly versus a high-tech tank. It's a lot smaller learning curve. You do way less maintenance. Right now, I personally have two low-tech tanks. One is my shallow nano 7-gallon tank, and the maintenance on that, I do it once a week, but I'm literally just cleaning the substrate, sucking water out, and putting water back in. My other low-tech tank, which is really a low-tech vase, I don't even maintain it. I just top it off with water every now and then. So a low-tech tank is a good way for beginners to figure out if this is something that you really want to do before you spend all that money and committing into a high-tech tank. Now the cons of low-tech tanks, you will definitely get slower growth. Your plant selection really dwindles to a select few that could survive in a low light, low nutrient, no CO2 environment. And the majority of those plants are not going to color up as much in that environment versus being in a high-tech tank. You could definitely create a beautiful work of art in the low-tech tank, but in a high-tech tank, your canvas just broaden tremendously. In my low-tech tank, I literally run green plants. The only red plants that I do run in there is Ludwigia super res. And the thing is, it's not going to color up as beautifully in the low-tech tank versus a high-tech tank. Other plants you can use in low-tech tanks is Amazon swords, Bolbitis, Java fern, Hydrocotyle species, mosses, Balsanarias, Sagittaria, Crypts, Boost. But I gotta say, with Boost, it's prettier in a high-tech tank. Carpeting plants like Monte Carlo you could run in a low-tech tank. But other carpeting plants like dwarf hairgrass is not going to be as successful. They'll probably either not grow at all or be super slow, like watching paint dry. If you were to ask me which one I recommend for beginners, I would lean towards the low-tech tank. Start with a low-tech tank, understand how to grow plants, and then as you get confident, you can slowly wean yourself into the high-tech tank realm, just like me. And since then, I actually keep both. And for anybody that is a beginner or just have questions about high-tech tank and low-tech tanks or anything aquarium, aquascaping, planted tanks related, hit me in the comments below. I always try my best to reply to everything. So with that in mind, like always, if you like videos like this, please hit the like button, comment down below, subscribe if you have not, and don't forget to share with a friend.